अब मैं इनवाइट करता हूँ, प्लीज वेलकम निरंजन भावे साहब.
So primarily I am here been invited for giving an understanding regarding nature, solar and environment per se. So this is the second time I have been invited by Rotary and I am thankful for Rotary first of all, and then Ramesh Prabhu sir for getting all us together on this a very important topic. I believe this is the second story. I started and initiated the first story last time we were live on MahaSeWA channel. So I said there that this would be Alif Laila's first story when I gave, and this would be a continuation of the second story. We have 1001 nights to go, and I believe we'll go 1001 nights. That why we require 1001 nights, because the situation is such. When I started initiating the topic the other day, fundamentally sir asked me, sir ये बातें तो बहुत हो रही है but कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. So I think we should start again from that point only कि ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. तो मैंने सर को ये बोला कि सर बातें होती है, पर बातें क्या होती है वो बहुत ज़रूरी है, और किस तरह से होती है, या विस्तार में होती है या नहीं होती. सो इसीलिए इसका नॉलेज लोगों तक पहुंचता है कि नहीं पहुंचता. दैट इज़ द फंडामेंटल कंसिडरेशन वेर एज द एनवायरमेंट कंसर्न एंड कमिंग डाउन टू सोलर इज कंसर्न. सो आई सेड देर आर टू एस्पेक्ट्स टू इट. When solar is concerned or a society is concerned, it's a micro aspect. And when things are decided at a particular level, then only things start percolating over the period of time. So solar has percolated, but not as fast as it has, been conceived to. For example, I'll tell you, Tata initiated this particular production of solar 30 years back. And now, like last 5 years, the process of vehemently going for solar has been initiated, for that matter. So when it comes to environment per se, the entire conversation started somewhere around 1970s, when there was first conference, which we called Stockholm Conference in 1972, wherein both developed and developing countries came together, sat across, and where developing countries said that we need to go for development, there has to be a technological sharing from your end, and wherein developed countries said that we are not going to give you technological development that fast, because you will create a lot of pollution. But हो तो otherwise रहा है, क्योंकि manual labor and working तो developing countries में ही ज़्यादा हो रहे. So there was a lot of huge conflict, there was a lot of issues being discussed, and over a period of 10 years there came a Earth Summit, where there was a very important concept discussed, and the concept was of sustainability. And I believe this is the concept which we need to discuss at the society level. Why at the society level fundamentally is because society is a place wherein large number of people, for that matter, come together and stay together. They have a common understanding, and if ever a decision is taken, that can be put across, and that decision can replicate in other societies also. So fundamentally society is a very important unit. A family is not that important unit as a society is. So society and this conference, how this goes hand in hand, is very important. The sustainability concept as such says that it's enough for everybody, every man's need, but there is not enough for every man's greed. Okay, development is not such that it is happening per se today. It has been happening since long time. I always say that it has happened from Roman times. We started shipbuilding from that time. It is going on, but from the inception of industrialization, the space has taken place, where there is onslaught of trees, land been occupied for development, industries and all those purposes. Owing to that, what has happened is nature has a very devastating effect per se. So, and the concept of sustainability is very inherent in nature as such. For example, you do agriculture, nature itself is sustainable. You replant a tree, it will come back. But the problem with nature is, if you harm anything, the reset time takes a lot of period. That's why we have to be very cautious when we are handling society, for environment for that matter. And thus, a society is a place where all these things could be executed in a broader perspective. Sir has talked about solar. So what is solar energy per se? Solar energy is nothing but sun's energy. Sun has a life period of 4 lakh crore years, and is absolutely freely available for us. Sun is freely available for us. So we need to use that, harness that energy for our daily purposes. Energy is a very important fundamental thing for us, because everything what we are staying, the ACs we are operating on, I have to go. This is like common sense which I am discussing. But then why solar fundamentally? Because most of our energy which is consumed from coal or thermal based products fundamentally. So when it comes down to solar, putting a 1 kilowatt of solar system is equivalent to putting or planting 2 trees for that matter. For a 100 kilowatt system, generally a society has around 50 to 100 kilowatt of system possible on its rooftop. So when we put a 100 kilowatt system, it's around 500 to 600 tons of carbon dioxide, which is avoided by putting into environment, which is otherwise coming from thermal consumption or coal burning. So solar is a very relevant topic given the environmental concerns which are operating in current scenario. So how solar system works per se? So solar system has the panels, as we said, Sir was discussing. I'll come to the technical aspects also. There are panels, there are inverters, there is a control charge system, and there are cabling wires which are connected. So what happens is there are fundamentally two systems in solar system. There is an off-grid system and an on-grid system. Government has fundamentally come up with an on-grid system of solar. What does an on-grid system of solar says? That you don't have to store any energy for that matter. You can directly put whatever you are producing into the grid and get it cross-subsidized. And how that happens? Basically what happens is there is an inverter and there is a solar panel. From solar panel, a direct current is generated. For electricity is generated through a solar panels. This solar energy, what happens is gets into the grid immediately. And the grid is continuously giving current to you or electricity to you. So you are not storing the energy. For example, if MahaSeWA is or whoever, the Adanis or Tatas, whoever are supplying energy in this particular area, what they do is they keep on supplying the energy to you. There is no disturbance in their supply. The only thing is you produce the energy and give it to them. Also, what happens is in on-grid, you have a net meter and a solar generation meter. In solar generation meter, you can see how much energy is generated through the solar panels. And in the net meter, you can see what sort of import is taken from the solar panels and what sort of export is given through the solar panels to the on-grid. That means to the utility grid fundamentally. So thus this system is very unique and very positive in its entire setup. Now coming down to the inverter, as over the years I have worked in solar, I have understood that the inverter is a very interesting thing. Generally our electricity operates at a particular frequency. That frequency is around 50 hertz. Okay. So inverter, it is such a unit which manages the frequency coming and going out of the system. So if there is any disturbance, you come to know earlier we won't be able to understand if there was any electrical disturbances. But solar inverter, helps us to recognize if there is any problem with the entire electrical connections also. So thus, whatever energy is coming into or whatever electrical consumption is happening at your place also, have a very broader picture and a clear understanding about what energy is consumed and how much is consumed or whether there is any problem with the existing systems as such. So solar system helps you in this manner. Fundamentally, the first advantage of solar is the reduction of bill. Wherever I have, or most of the places where I have installed solar, the society's bill or individual bills or any corporate areas, their bill have reduced very drastically from 80 to 90%. That's a huge, and there are houses where I have done 100% reduction. For example, there is a bungalow scheme which is operative in Navi Mumbai area. So I believe there are 10 bungalows over there in line. So all are consuming around 10 kilowatt of electricity. So their billing units for all 10 bungalows in last month was 0. So we had installed that particular thing. So they are only paying 240 rupees. It's a single phase system. So to such a level, the reduction has happened per se where the cost is involved. Again, the benefit which relates to environment has already been discussed by sir that since you are not using coal generated factors, more of environment friendly thing can happen through solar energy. Now solar, third thing is the cost. The cost of solar system has gone drastically down now. The ROI is around 2.5 years and 3 years. If you go for smaller systems, obviously they are higher, but if you go for a society which is from 50 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt, the ROIs are around 3 years and the lifetime of a panel system is 25 years. So considering that, this is a very good option now to go for solar system because two things are going to happen in the coming times. The electricity rates are not going to come down as we see. They are going to keep on escalating. Year on year, there 5% escalation is there in the electricity rate. So this is a very important concern that if one installs and goes for solar system in the coming times, this is certainly going to benefit them at a economic consideration also. So these are the fundamental concerns, whereas the solar system is concerned. So our company, Orange Energy Solutions, is not only dealing with solar. Fundamentally, we are an environmental firm. And as an environmental firm, we have executed various waste management projects also. So we have executed in urban and rural setup both. I'll start with the rural setup. Around Panvel, we have been working because those are the cities which are evolving now, per se. There are villages, basically they are very connected with the airport now, or a Naina area which we call. So over there we have taken around 70 villages. What we did, we started with the experiment. We spoke to the BDO over there and the Gram Sevaks. So we fundamentally gave them an understanding. What happens generally is if there is no economic incentive associated to anything, it falls back. So we gave an economic incentive. What we did was we created a self-help group of few females. We brought them together and we told them that we need to manage our wet waste for that matter, because in those areas or the surrounding or city surrounding areas, what happens is the garbage is generally thrown on the roads. So the maintenance is not happening at all for that matter. So we talked to these people, we talked to BDO and then the CEO, and then we arranged a particular system wherein wet waste could be managed. And as the wet waste was managed, we got such a fantastic result. Okay, so obviously through that the wet waste was decomposed and generated into soil, rich soil, manure for that, compost for that matter. And this compost, last month only there was a sale of 5,000 kgs, and these 10 females who operated all this thing have earned some money also. And there was last week there was this Swachha Pakwada by central government. So we topped the list for like all India. 3 people were selected. Ours was one of them who was selected. These all were facilitated, congratulated for all this. So this was the thing which we initiated in rural areas. Now coming down to the urban setting. So we were discussing, sir and me, that why this is not happening at an urban level, because it's very important. Urban wet waste is a big thing, considering city already have a very limited space, whereas state garbage dumping is concerned. Our dumping grounds are full, and they are very dangerous places to sustain now. So what other options we have? Already the organic cover or the soil cover is depleting, rather it has depleted. If ever anything gets depleted over 30%, we say that it's very difficult to return back to its original state. Now in case of soil, 60% to 70% of the soil, good soil cover has already vanished. It's not only Indian statistics I'm talking about, but world over this has been the phenomenon, that the soil cover is going like nothing. So already gone, you can say. So whatever soil can be prepared and procured through home degradation, because the most of the consumption is happening in this area. So we need to segregate it, we need to compost it. These are very fundamental things. Why we are talking about this is the societal level is because essentially this communication and the concepts of sustainability need to be discussed at this level, sir. This is a place all these discussions should happen. More awareness should happen about this thing. Only then the results should come out, because we have very less time now. As sir has already said that, it's talked about Sabarmati river, I believe. So there the sea has also gone. There is a sea called Aral Sea. So Aral Sea has also gone. So if a sea can go, a channel level is nothing. Getting me? So we need to have more dialogue. We are working on a concept wherein we reach out to societies and we prepare a questionnaire to them. We hand over this questionnaire and try to understand fundamentally how much basic things they know, right? Like about the natural resources, about biological cycles they know, because this is where the impact is happening. Unless and until they get aware about the biological cycles or the oxygen cycles and other things, they won't be able to relate much to the solutions which are going to get provided to them. So considering all this, we are providing them with, we are not just going with solutions for them. We are going with an idea, we are going with more moorings of these conceptual understandings in them. So Rotary and all you people should contribute to, associating ourselves. MahaSeWA is already doing that, and motivate us to help, flourish more and more environmental solutions, so that, we help our environment to come back on some particular time format, because we have already lost time. Now we need to go into mode of elimination of this thing, not just mitigate. Mitigation is long back a solution. We have crossed the era of post-modernization also. The structural changes are happening wherein irreversible prospect is working on us now. So elimination of issues are very important. So considering all this, we are going to work in I hope everybody here is vigil citizen considering what is a holiday and everybody has come and is interested in all this kind of topics. I'm more happy that most of the panel over here is related to environment only. This type of panel which only talks about have more impact on the people who are sitting across. So thank you, Lord. Thanks a lot. Yes, 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 sir. We are installing basically for Tatas. We are doing work now. We have installed for various other organizations also. Sir, we are executed around 60 megawatt of projects all over India, like right from the inception stage to the commissioning stage all over India. So this is in solar concern. So in the waste management also we have done. Now we are working with Taloja MIDC for air quality control. There was a huge issue recently in Taloja for air quality control. So we are bringing some factors in for also we are working with some dairies, government cooperatives, wherein lot of effluent is been released already into the local areas, which we are also operating on, and we are bringing solutions like zero liquidation discharge, wherever the refuse from a particular chemical factory or a dairy factory, if ever it is released, has to be of a quality which is not going to harm the environment per se. So all these four factors we are working on. Today was a seminar for societies as such, so more was stress on solar from my end. And as we proceed, other talks also can be done. Vivas sir will talk more about the yes sir. Yes sir.
See, most of the time societies, committees are honorary people.
Right sir.
They may not be very much interested in going like a businessman to get the finance and execute and all this.
Correct, correct, correct.
So can you enlighten as to what role your organization
Right,
play
right.
once a secretary or the committee comes to you
Right.
that we want to do this, then the requirement will be everything has to be auto at your level.
Correct.
You know.
Right,
So how it is being done, right from finance to the permission of the local authorities
Correct.
and all these aspects. Can you just enlighten?
Absolutely. Sir, I'll first of all tell you the. Yes.
Yeah, cost.
Yes.
It is the cost and the finance and the permissions and
Yes.
maintenance.
Correct.
Warranty and no warranty, all these aspects are very important.
Absolutely.
Because see, these are the honorary people. We
Yes.
cannot expect them to be there for 24 hours.
Correct.
These systems require a lot. Second side is there any scope of accidental issues?
Right.
Children ऊपर चले गए और कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ
Right.
You know, बड़े लोग भी गए और by curiosity की टच कर दिया है
बराबर।
something of this sort. So what are those issues I would like
Correct.
you to throw some light on that?
Correct. Right. Sir, I'll start with the regulatory concerns per se. Now, how the regulatory Yes. Yeah. Sir, are you able to hear me now? Yeah. जी. ये माइक नहीं चल रहा है चल रहा है? ओके. ओके. सर, रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क के बारे में बात करते हैं कि रेगुलेटरी काम कैसे करता है, कि परमिशंस कैसे लिए जाते हैं. सर, सोलर के बारे में एक बहुत फैंटास्टिक चीज़ है ऑन ग्रिड, स्पेशली इन द सिटीज़. क्या हो रहा है कि यहाँ पे लाइट 24 आवर्स रहेगी, तो आपको बैटरी की ज़रूरत ही नहीं. दस वी आर गोइंग फॉर एन ऑन ग्रिड सिस्टम, जहाँ पे कंटिन्यूसली MSEB से भी लाइट आ रही है, और फॉर दैट मैटर एनी डिस्कॉम, वो आपको कंटिन्यूसली लाइट दे रहा है, वो लाइट आप ले रहे हैं. ऑन ग्रिड सिस्टम बेसिकली कैसे काम करता है कि आप भी एक बंदे बन जाते हो जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस करके ग्रिड में डाल रहे हैं. आई विल गिव एन अदर एग्जांपल. लाइक इफ अ रेनफॉल इज फॉलिंग, okay, and there is a taki or a tank in your house, what you do is you collect water in that tank, but you don't use it for your own purpose. You use that water and give it to the main reservoir at the entire village, and the water from the village is coming to you continuously. So how much you give, basically in this case, how much system which we install is of very important concern. अब इसमें क्या होता है सर कि हम उतना ही बनाते हैं जितना आप कंज्यूम करते हैं. What we understand, we take your bill and we try to understand what is your consumption pattern. हम समझते हैं कि आप कितना यूनिट्स कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं एवरी मंथ, एवरी ईयर, वो पूरा उसका हम लोग एक एवरेज कंजम्पशन समझ के लेते हैं. उसके हिसाब से हम वी प्लान द किलोवाट सिस्टम. तो आर फ्यूचर रिक्वायरमेंट्स भी समझ के लेते हैं कि इन द कमिंग पीरियड दिस आर गोइंग टू बी द फ्यूचर रिक्वायरमेंट्स. नाउ कमिंग डाउन टू द रेगुलेटरी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ दिस. लुक, electricity is a very important concern for governments also. Okay, government is not very easily going to give a electricity ka thing to solar, but that's why solar has come very late over here. Thus, government has devised few areas in or the ways to get the solar installed. First thing is the feasibility. Very important, sir. The government comes and checks whether a particular place is feasible for installation or not. Okay. Then it will give you a feasible approval for feasibility. Once that feasibility approval is done, I will explain you the entire process so that whatever the hitches कि बाबा ये होगा कि नहीं, कितने टाइम में होता है, वो निकल जाएगा. ये वो feasibility report आ गया, उसके बाद वो क्या करेंगे कि आपको बोलेंगे now you start installing. So you start installing, they'll have a visit. Otherwise, they don't have a visit also, because once they see that other parameters are okay. Once you've done the installation, you prepare the entire dossier. In that dossier, you mention what panels you are using. Okay. Also, when you are doing that, they have mentioned in their basic understanding, when you go on MECB or MECDCL or MNRE's website, they have mentioned fundamental requirements or which sort of panels are to be installed. MNRE plays a very important role, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Only those panels which have been certified by them. What do we mean by certified by them? Basically, what happens, these companies who are producing it, or for that matter, assembling the entire setup and selling it in the market, has to take the permission. They have to submit an affidavit with the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy that these are the panels, these are test reports. You also test in your lab. So government also tests it in their lab, sees for whatever they have been mentioned is exact to the word or not, and then they allow that particular panel to be supplied in the market per se. So one has to get rid of the doubt that whether this panel or work or not, because it has been authenticated by government only. Okay. Otherwise, because here we are talking about 25 years, but there is a fundamental understanding that has to be some certain amount of kilowatt which has to get generated through your. If for a smaller kilowatt system, generally we don't sign a PPA. We give you a loan system. Okay. There are various financial organizations which have come up now. There are EcoFi, then there is EFL. They are ready to provide you finance. But then you have to create an account over there. There is a revolving BG from your end, which is operative. Revolving BG is nothing but your 6 months bill which you are going to pay with the department. You are going to keep that with us, okay, as a security. Because anything does not happen, there are obviously liabilities associated with the EPC person, engineering, procurement and construction person who is coming to install that particular system at your place. So the revolving BG is essential from your end. All things are taken care of. You don't have to worry about anything, sir. Right from taking the permissions of feasibility to the time of installation of the net meter to the commissioning of the system, we sign a separate annual maintenance agreement with you also. And for that matter, I'll tell you a very interesting thing. With solar, there is very rare maintenance issues, sir, especially with the on-grid system. For solar water heater system, which you have mentioned, there are issues because in solar, there are two types of systems which are operating. One is the photovoltaic system and another is a water heating system. Any heating system for that matter has issues, sir, because heating itself is a very complex phenomenon. And not only that, there is a lot of energy, immediate energy transference is happening. So rusting is happening and other things are happening. Otherwise, with solar photovoltaic, wherein it operates on light basically. Photons which hit on the surface of the panel, okay, they activate the electrons and the current starts flowing through the panel. Thus the electricity, basically a solar panel is nothing but a semiconductor for that matter. That's why this entire issue of semiconductor production, Maharashtra recently lost a investment. That's not an issue of discussion over here. So semiconductors are very important, whereas solar is concerned, because they help in generating electricity for that matter. So coming down to your concern, that we take care of everything, sir, from end to end, right? From your finances to the commissioning of the project to the AMC. And where I took a break to talk about other thing was AMC. Annual maintenance in solar is next to nothing, sir, hardly 1% of your investment. You have to just properly, clean the surfaces of panel, and otherwise, because the connectors also, right from the connecting, the wires which you are using, the cables and the inverter are given with a warranty of 10 years, sir. So one has to not worry only about it. And panels, I don't believe any products have warranties more than 20 years for that matter. Solar panels warranty is around 25 years. For 90%, for 10 years, the efficiency of solar panel is around 90%. With 90% efficiency it runs. And for next to 15 years, it's around 85 to 90 years. So with such a high efficiency, 2 generations can pass with solar for that matter. One generation is taken to be around 20 to 25 years. Sir, fundamentally, when you are installing a solar panel, you take a structural audit. Okay. But I'll fundamentally tell you, there is no issue. Sir, there is no issue in installing solar panel. I'll come point by point to ma'am's each and every concern. There is nothing like new construction and old construction, ma'am. Solar system, fundamentally, our structures are designed in that way, or wherever we are habiting to take load. Okay, a panel weighs around 20 to 25 kg. If it's a half a kilowatt panel, so the load distribution is already happening. Yes, absolutely, sir. There is no issue with load taking considerations. So, I am installing at a place where it is already 40 years old building and it is running very safely. There is no issue at all. Yeah, correct. I'll talk about the cost also, sir. So, the latitude and all, that is not an issue, ma'am. Yeah, just open. We are already very close to equator. So, you have to just put it south facing. Why? Because sun is on the equator and we are located in the north. So thus we have to face our panels in the south direction. That is the only concern. Yes, so wherever we have gone, so smaller bungalows, be it societies, there is no issue. There is ample lot of sunlight. Only sunlight has to fall. And with the new technology, which is called mono-PERC, which is called passive emissive. It is PERC, passive emissive. Even in the recent times, I have seen wherein I got zero bill, sir. It emits during lower light also. Even if it is clouded, the generation happens. So once you take a cumulative understanding over a month's period, I have seen that people have got zero bill, because at the end of a month only you get the bill, right? So if ever there is a consumption or a bill goes down or a unit consumption happens on a particular day, the next day it is compensated. And the new panels, the unit generation is much more higher, sir. Coming down to the third doubt of either कि बच्चों को क्या होगा वो लगाएंगे, कोई भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं आता सर. कोई भी प्रॉब्लम, वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट करके डायरेक्टली ग्रिड में दे देते हैं या फॉर दैट मैटर इन्वर्ट में दे देते हैं. वो हायर लगाए हुए रहते हैं. वो कनेक्टर जो होते हैं सर, दे आर IP66 एंड IP67 इंग्रेस प्रोटेक्शन. डर्ट भी जाएगा, पानी भी जाएगा तो कुछ नहीं होगा उसको. सो यू डोंट हैव टू वरी ओनली. वंस इट इज डन यू हैव टू फॉरगेट इट. वो या लाइक दैट मिसाइल, once you fire it, it has to go and it will hit only. So solar system is a very nice system, sir. You just have to install and forget about the issues which are concerned. अभी तो पैनल की साइज भी बढ़ गई है, जनरेशन ज़्यादा अच्छा हो रहा है. जनरली पहले पैनल 5 यूनिट जनरेट करते थे, अभी 6 यूनिट्स तक जनरेट कर रहे हैं. यूनिट्स, इलेक्ट्रिकल यूनिट्स बेसिकली जो हम बोल रहे हैं. सो कॉस्ट वाइज दिस इज वेरी इफेक्टिव, सर. 3 साल का ROI इज लाइक नो प्रोडक्ट विल. कोई भी चीज़ लेंगे हम, उसका ROI बहुत अच्छा. इंडस्ट्री में तो आपको डेप्रिसिएशन बेनिफिट मिल रहा है. डेप्रिसिएशन क्या होता है कि बेसिकली कोई भी चीज़ खरीदते हैं तो वो एक पर्टिकुलर पीरियड के बाद उसका वैल्यू ज़ीरो हो जाता है. तो उसका गवर्नमेंट बोलती है आप बेनिफिट ले लो. तो वो बेनिफिट आपको पहले 3 साल में गवर्नमेंट अलाउ कर रही है, जो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ ईयर्स आपको अदरवाइज दूसरे किसी प्रोडक्ट में अलाउड है. सो डेप्रिसिएशन सोलर पहले 2 साल में आपको मिल सकता है फंडामेंटली. सर आपको सब्सिडी मिल रहा है ना सोसाइटी में. मैं इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहा था कि जो भी इंडस्ट्री में SME में या मीडियम स्मॉल इंडस्ट्रीज में काम कर रहे हैं उनके लिए तो फ़ायदे का हो गया. 30% ऑफ देयर पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट. अभी मैंने एक आई एम वर्किंग विद अ कोऑपरेटिव इन नासिक, तो उनका आई हैव गिवन देम अ 90 किलोवाट का सिस्टम. तो दैट इज अ हाइब्रिड सिस्टम. इन मुंबई आई कैन गो फॉर हाइब्रिड सिस्टम वेयर सोलर एंड विंड कैन कम टुगेदर. वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. वी हैव ऑलरेडी डन इट इन RBI इन दादर. Yeah, wherein solar and these have come together. We also done with naval dockyard where solar and hybrid has come together. The system has been put over there. Airport also. Sir, hybrid and solar the escalation will happen. The 20% to 30% appreciation will happen. But then again, that helps because wind में क्या होगा कि वो तो 24 आवर जनरेट करेगा आपको wind solution. So उसके वजह से उसके यूनिट्स के फायदे आपको वो पीरियड में मिलेंगे. अदर इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज when there is rainy season, वहाँ उस टाइम में आपका सोलर कंजम्पशन कम हो जाएगा. तो यू कैन हैव इट फ्रॉम विंड सोल्यूशंस. सो कॉम्पेंसेशन बहुत अच्छा हो जाता है.